Welcome back from the break. Let's go and have a chat to Chris Dare, the owner of Flirt. Chris Dare, you've commissioned the Corby 49. The first question obviously is why a Corby 49?
Why Corby 49? Well, my previous boat was a Corby 49 and we had great success with that last year, and I think John understands the rule very well, obviously being based in the UK designer, and to be honest, one of the good things about the whole process as well was that he was willing to work with me to, I suppose, work on the things that I thought were deficient in the old boat and I suppose, the result is a boat we got today. So, we're pretty comfortable with where we're at. I think got a designer who understands the rule well and with a bit of input from the sailors as well, hopefully we'll have a good boat.
John Corby, the designer of Flirt, how many years in the drawing board has this boat been?
This boat, this actual boat started life around about Easter when Chris approached me and we started talking about it. But of course, it stems from it's evolved from the previous boat which Chris owned, which was also 49 foot. So there's two ways of looking at it. It's either brand new design or it's involvement from the previous one.
Now, obviously, Chris has already mentioned that you've worked very closely with him, and that has got to be a great feature of Corby Yachts in that you are prepared to work very closely with the owners to give them what they want.
Oh, exactly, because that isn't always the case. Some people just sort of give me the order and then come back a few months later and collect the boat. Chris isn't that type of owner at all. He's totally dedicated. He gets involved with every single aspect of the boat. He knew exactly what size of boat he wanted, what it had to rate, what it had to weigh, the different performance characteristics of it. He knew exactly what it was he was dealing with, and that's been fun because we've all learned from it.
Now, what is the total weight of the hull without the keel?
The total weight of the hull without the keel, I'd have to shoot you if I told you that. The boat weighs a lot less than 2 tons if you take all the metal off it. Basically, the carbon fibre and the paint is around about 1,700 kilos, something like that.
Steve Campbell, Composite Constructions, can you run us through the build process of the Corby 49?
Yes, I can. Well, the build process basically starts with a lot of liaising with the designer and talking about how we're going to build the boat. And with this particular boat, we made it in a female mould. So the female mould was CNC cut, and as you see on the pictures, with computer routers out of a big box of foam. And then we brought the foam to the factory and assembled that here. We coated the foam with a special coating so we can laminate the boat inside the mould. As such, it's basically a disposable mould, one would call it. And once the mould's assembled, we can start constructing the boat. And this boat is made out of carbon fibre, and it's done in a 3-stage process. We lay up what's called the outer skin, the core and the inner skin, and each part of that process is done individually. We vacuum bag them each layer, like we vacuum bag the inner skin, the core and the outer skin, and then we put a tent over it. We cook the boat off as such, and this boat again was done in 2 halves. We joined the 2 halves together and start putting the structure in the boat. The structure takes quite a long time to put into the boat. All the frames, the bunks, the cupboards, bulkheads and all that sort of jazz. Again, being a racing boat, it's quite basic inside, but it's still quite technical inside as well. There's a lot of laminating, chain plates, engine beds and all those sorts of areas. So we get all that sort of stuff in, pre-fit the deck. The deck, with this particular boat, we made it because we had a space problem in my factory, so we made the deck first, stuck that in the roof of the factory, built the shell, built the structure, painted the interior of the structure to an undercoat stage, fitted the deck, and once the deck was fitted, then we started doing all the fit out, i.e. bunks, deck gear, steering, all that sort of jazz, and then we go into the painting process, or the final painting process. We finally paint the boat, and once the boat's finally painted, we can start assembling all the deck gear, bunks, engine, electronics, and all those areas like electronics and deck gear, we get contractors in or specialised people to come in and fit those things out and put all that, and they all come together as a nice little neat package. Meanwhile, while that's happening, the keel, rudder, mast are all being built in other places as well. And again, we timed it reasonably well, and all those things come together. So when the boat's ready to go out the door, we have all those items ready to stick on the boat, at their appropriate times. So that's it in a summary, I suppose, but there's a lot to it. You know, a lot of little fiddly areas. I mean, the keel and bulb and rudder were quite fiddly. Once we got them here, we had to still do some finishing off work to them, and then, you know, pre-fit them to the boat, and then we finally fit them down to the boat at the yacht club. I.e., this boat was fitted together at Sandringham Yacht Club. And then put all together, we launched the boat, and we spent about 2 weeks of doing sea trials and testing, make sure everything works, and then basically hand it over to the owner, and he takes it over from there.
Long process. It looks absolutely fabulous on the water. You must be proud of your achievements.
Yeah, we are. It's been a long job, but we're very proud, and I'm proud of the guys that have helped me as well. So,
How many man hours involved in the building process?
I'm yet to add them up, but roughly around about 8,500 to 9,000 man hours. So,
And how many men on the job?
we've had, on average, 5 men, so 5 to 6 men, yeah.
Was there a few nervous moments during the construction regarding the time frame?
Lots of nervous moments, especially the other day when we stuck the boat in the water for the first time and we went for the first sail yesterday. I think that over the whole project was probably the most nerve-wracking moment. But apart from that, everything seemed to go well. You have a few hiccups here and there, but you overcome them. But I think yesterday was probably the biggest one yet.
It's been a long process, and one that I'm sure has provided plenty of sleepless nights. Obviously tonight is the launch. How do you feel the boat is going to handle?
Oh look, well, I reckon it's going to be great. We were out for an hour last night, and you know, first impressions last, and she's certainly different from the old boat. Handled beautifully, feels really slippery. Went, you know, numbers clearly better than the old boat. First night out with, you know, a few boats just sitting on the rail and that, so we're pretty confident that the boat will go well. And, you know, I mean, under the rule, it's all about, you know, if you sail to your rating, it doesn't matter if you've got a big rating, you'd have a fast boat. If you have a little rating, you have a slow boat. So we're pretty confident based on the first night the boat will go well. It felt great, to be honest, and I know John and a few of the boys, Bart from NZ Rigging and Ross were out last night, and, you know, everyone walked off with big smiles on their faces, which is always a good sign.
We're about to heat it up with more V8 superboat action from Albury, so stick around.